Simon had been working as a clown for just over 3 years. He decided to go into entertaining shortly after his grandfather died. It had been a very difficult time for him and he had felt very lost and rudderless. He stumbled on it purely by chance. He saw a video of a clown on TV, and it gave him an idea. He would become a clown, but not just any clown. He would become a thieving clown. He would go into the center of town, and while putting on his act, a group of men would go around and rob unsuspecting bystanders. No one would ever suspect a clown, and besides, how could he have robbed anyone when he was in front of them the whole time? However, he was starting to feel guilty. He wanted to stop what he was doing and do a legitimate job. His grandfather would not have approved. It was while was still thinking about his grandfather that he picked up his watch. It was the last thing his grandfather had left him. It had suddenly stopped working, and he was going to take it into town to get it fixed after his shift was over. He left for work and began doing his act. Suddenly, he spotted her. She was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. She came up to him to talk after his show was over. They spoke for over an hour. It felt so natural. Sadly, she said she had to leave. She bumped into him, apologized and left. He was still buzzing from the encounter when he got back home. He had forgotten to take the watch to get it repaired. He reached into his pockets, only to discover the watch was gone. Oh no! What would he do now? He rushes back into the city center and begins to ask around. No one seems to know who the woman he was talking to was. Until an older man invited him into his home, promising to reveal the identity of the beautiful woman, who by now he suspected had stolen his watch. The old man explained to him where he could find her, and he thanked him and left. Simon was on the way to the flower shop where she worked. He felt both anger and excitement, both bewilderment and nervousness. He was going to see this beautiful woman again, but at the same time, he was going to find out why she had stolen from him. He reached the shop and walked in. There she was, just as beautiful as from earlier. "You stole my watch." "Why did you do it?" he yelled. She sat there quietly, not saying a word. For a long time she just sat there. Then she began to gently sob. He didn't hear it at first, and then the unmistakable sound of crying filled the room. He was taken aback. "Why are you crying?" he asked. She replied, "I'm not crying because of your watch. I'm crying because of what I nearly lost, because of you. Last year you stole all the money my father had during one of your shows. We had no way of proving it was you until I noticed suspicious activity happening around the time of your shows. 3 months ago my father fell terribly ill and we couldn't afford to get treatment. We had to beg and borrow to pay his bill. Do you have any idea what that feels like?" She spat at him. "Do you even think of your victims? My father was a big fan of your show, but because of you he nearly died. How can you be so cruel?" Simon stood there in disbelief, shock, horror and embarrassment. She didn't steal from him because she was cruel. She did it to teach him a lesson. He apologized to her and offered to pay back everything he owed her family, with interest. "Just tell me where your father is and I will go and apologize to him right now. I'm so sorry." "You know my father," she responded. "He was the one who told you where I was." Simon was so shocked. He asked how much he took from her and promised to send it back to her the next day. "Are you going to tell the police what I've done?" She didn't respond. She calmly removed his wristwatch from her handbag and put it on the table. Simon took it and left in complete embarrassment. This was a woman he was excited to see again, not knowing that it was all set up to get back at him. For the first time he was the victim, and didn't like it one bit. For days Simon sat on his bed, thinking. He thought about his life, what he had done, he thought about who he had hurt, and he felt ashamed. There was also one thing he thought about. He thought about her, a lot. He couldn't seem to stop thinking about her. Halfway across town, she was laying on her bed. She had received double the amount of money from Simon, through one of his workers, the very next day. It should have been over, but it wasn't. She also could not stop thinking about him. Our story continues next time. Find out what happens in this story. Give this video a like, if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel so that you are informed when the sequel drops. XOX. Oh.